October 1988, we are going over The Incredible Hulk 348. This is the next arc of Peter David's Joe Fixit, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, if you remember last issue, we see that Hulk has become an enforcer for Mr. Bernagatti, whatever. So basically, he's the hired muscle of the casino so that no one can start shit. And he's liking the limelight. He's living the good life, but whenever the sun's out, or certain times he can feel Bruce Banner trying to get at him. And that's kind of, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing that Stan Lee established with the Hulk. Now, before we get into this panel, let's talk about who made this. This is Peter David writer, Jeff Peruz doing the penciling, Mike and Val Gustavich doing the inks, Joe Rosen letter, Petra Scottesi, colorist, Bobby Chase, editor, and Tom DeFalco, editor-in-chief. So we got some awesome names on this book. And I love how it says, job security. I don't want any stinking breakfast now. Beat it. They're thinking, why is he being so pissy? Whatever you say, Mr. Fixit. Boy, what's with him? He's sure not himself. Banner. I feel him clawing at my mind like nails on a chalkboard. I thought I shut those drapes. Sun hurts like the devil. Like it's trying to burn me away. And leave Banner in my place. Blast you, Banner. This is the best life I've ever had, and I won't let you screw it up, not without a fight. So with that said, we cut away to the aftermath of the fight between Mr. Gold and Mr. Bernaghetti. Mr. Gold essentially wants to lay claim in Las Vegas. And Mr. Bernaghetti doesn't want to. He said, you have X amount of time to leave Vegas. But instead, he hires Krill. I cannot remember his last name. The Absorbing Man. He goes, okay, Krill, I'm counting on you because Bernaghetti and his men fix it. They got to pay for what they did to me. To you, from what I hear, Gold, it's your men who got thrashed. You wanted to be numero uno man in Vegas, and the Bernaghetti guy wouldn't roll over, so you played rough. And he played rougher. But at least you're still standing, so don't whine to me. Just pay me. And by the way, it'll cost you $1 million. Dollars? You're tough, but... Okay. You can always renegotiate afterwards. Oh, and don't get any funny ideas about me. Thunk. Because I get thick-skinned about cheats. So Gold says, well, why don't you just go into work for yourself instead of always being the hired muscle? And I love how thought processes... This is what I think I love about comics and books is when you're doing like film or in real life, when someone asks you a question, you don't have time to basically just do an exposition... What's that word called? Exposition dump. You'll just kind of, if people are really saying, how you doing? I'm fine. Instead of saying, oh, my feet hurt, my back hurt, this day's pissed me off because da-da-da-da-da-da. So here, within the span of what a real response would be in the real world, we kind of see what has been up with Krill during this time period. He goes, why? Because my life's been a total waste. That's why. Ever since I got this power to duplicate whatever I touch, I thought it'd be on easy street. Instead, I've had nothing but misery. The first was when I finally beat Thor, except he tricked me into sending myself into another dimension. And so at this time it says to read Thor something or other. But he wandered this dimension, found out that time kind of overlaps on itself, so he found a way back. So I like how, without saying, oh, look, the science, or this is super science-y, or oh boy, I love the science. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Instead, they just say, all I had to do was wait until time folded back on itself to the first time when I arrived. And finally it happened. I saw the vortex swirling around and saw a dim image of myself through the mists. And even as I arrived, I left. And he's talking about how he grabbed the vortex and essentially absorbed it. So that's saying, oh, look, the science. Science is super cool. I love the science. No, we got a really cool explanation. That was basically like a Star Trek tech jargon without the whole quippy, cutesy BS that you guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, Mr. Bernaghetti is told that Joe is pouting. And he goes, and he's like, Joe, if you don't let me in, I'm going to use my key. So you used your key, big deal. What's the problem now? You are, and why is it so dark in here? I like it dark. And why are you always calling me Joe? After Mighty Joe Young, one of my favorite big gorillas until you came along. Remember when I found you by the Lug Yucca Flats? You looked like you'd been through a mix master. And I brought you here, and I offered you a deal. I said you'll have the best food, lodgings, women, clothes, everything. And you said, what do I have to do for this? And I said, beat people up sometimes. And you said, sounds great. And he goes, you've kept your word about everything. The only guy I ever met who gave me a good life and didn't betray me. Yet. And I won't. And if you have any problems, you tell me, okay? Because if I can't solve your problems, no one can. So anyway, it's just kind of a neat little moment to kind of show the relationship between Joe Fixit and Bernadette and why he is so, loyal to him. This girl, Marlo, she is the call girl that Joe Fixit basically had for the night after the fight. And this night there's some girl talk saying, tell me everything about him. You always play coy. Tell me. All right, what do you want to know? Everything. What's he like? And so she kind of describes him, which I'll leave the text there. You guys can read that at your convenience. And then the destruction happens. The Absorbing Man comes to Bernadette's hotel and just starts smashing up the place. And still the Hulk doesn't want to do this because he's feeling weak from the sunlight, but he doesn't have a choice. He says, but if there's danger and I change back to him, I'm dead. Stand clear. I'm going to let him have it with the riot gun. And no matter what type of weapon they use, they can't seem to defeat him. Why don't you reroute the message from Mr. Bernadette to me? Well, Mr. Fixit, right? Right. I hear you're pretty tough. Give me a sample just for laughs. Wham! I felt that. I don't care if you're just some 2-bit local muscle. Nobody does that to the Absorbing Man. And the fight is just intense. And the Hulk wants to basically get it out of the hotel. Where is the panel? Hold on a second. I'll find it. Just wait a minute. I don't remember where it is. Damn it. We'll find it. Anyway, basically the Hulk leaps. And the Absorbing Man says, there's only one person that I know that can leap like that. He goes, and if I would have known that it was him, I would have absorbed his skin, like touched his skin. Oh, there it is. I told you, give me a minute. I've got any hope of keeping this Fixit cover. I better get out of here and hope he follows. So he jumps. Holy, only one monster I know leaps like that. Blast, if I'd known, I would have absorbed his skin. And so we end up at the Hoover Dam, and the battle is just something intense. And the Absorbing Man is trying everything he can to touch the Hulk. So I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler. He finally does. You wanted an easy life? You got an easy life. It'll be real easy when you're laid out on a slab. And this is where we find out that the sunlight, for whatever happened to the Hulk, is his weakness. Of course, the sun's weakening him, burning him, like it was me, but he's not covered up. I'm dying! What'd you do to me? Let go, you gray freak. I'm burning up. I gotta change. And I love how each time they fight, each time he touches concrete, the Absorbing Man says, so I'm concrete. What are you going to do now? And the fight is just something to behold. And I love the artwork. The faces at first were a little off-putting, but for the story, I mean, look at how Creel here looks like a battered boxer. Same with the Hulk, where, you know, he looks like one of the a mobster enforcer that's just seen one too many fights. This was a blast to read, and apparently this goes into the Web of Spider-Man issue 44, so that's the next part of the Joe Fixit arc, so I'm going to have to hunt that one down next. But I finally got an original copy of 347, and I saw this one, and I couldn't pass either of them up, so got this one. And then, of course, I had to put 347 on my comic wall because it's the first appearance of our Joe Fixit. So if y'all have enjoyed this book, please, first and foremost, go support your local comic shop or wherever it is like to get your action figures and comics, and either get these in the singles like I'm trying to do, because I'm a single junkie. I love the hunt. But I know that can be a little pricey, so try to, if you can, get it in collected trade as well. And if you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate you taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you want to hit that fancy little absorbing bell next subscribe, that way as I continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel. And I love hearing from y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or the socials, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope y'all have an absolutely incredible day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.